Namaste, Dhanava Pranam. We are here reading Srimad Bhagavatam by the instruction and grace of our spiritual master, Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Shripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Canto 2, the Cosmic Manifestation, Chapter 10, Text 11. Tasvatisva Shrishtashu Sahasram Parivacharam Tena Narayano Nama Yadhapa Purushodbhava. That Supreme Person is not impersonal, and therefore is distinctively a Nara, or person. Therefore, the transcendental water created from the Supreme Nara is known as Nara. And because he lies down on that water, he is also known as Narayana. Text 12. Dravyam karma chakalascha swabhavo jiva evacha yad anugrahata shanti na shanti yad upekshaya. One should definitely know that all material ingredients, activities, time, and modes, and the living entities who are meant to enjoy them all, exist by his mercy only. And as soon as he does not care for them, everything becomes non-existent. Purport. The living entities are the enjoyers of the material ingredients, time, modes, etc., because they want to lord it over the material nature. The Lord is the supreme enjoyer, and the living entities are meant to assist the Lord in his enjoyment and thus participate in the transcendental enjoyment of everyone. The enjoyer and the enjoyed both participate in enjoyment, but deluded by the illusory energy, the living entities want to become the enjoyer like the Lord, although they are not meant for such enjoyment. The jivas, the living entities, are mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita as the Lord's superior nature, or para-prakriti, and so also it is mentioned in the Vishnu Purana. Therefore, the living entities are never the Therefore, the living entities are never the Purushas or the factual enjoyers. As such, the spirit of enjoyment by the living entity in the material world is false. In the spiritual world, the living entities are pure in nature, and therefore they are associates in the enjoyment of the Supreme Lord. In the material world, the spirit of enjoyment of the living entities by dint of their own actions, karma, gradually fades by the laws of nature, and thus the illusory energy dictates in the ears of the conditioned souls that they should become one with the Lord. This is the last snare of the illusory energy. When the last illusion is also cleared off by the mercy of the Lord, the living entity again becomes reinstated in his original position, and thus becomes actually liberated. For this attainment of liberation from the material clutches, the Lord creates the material world, maintains it for some time, 1,000 years of his measurement, as stated in the previous verse, and then again annihilates it by his will. The living entities are therefore completely dependent on the mercy of the Lord, and all their so-called enjoyments by scientific improvement are crushed into dust when the Lord desires. Text 13. Ekonatvam anvichan, ekonana tvamanvichan, yoga talpat samutita, viryam hiran mayam devo, mayaya vyasrijatrida. The Lord, while lying on his bed of mystic slumber, generated the seminal symbol, golden in hue, through external energy out of his desire to manifest varieties of living entities from himself alone. Purport. In Bhagavad Gita 9.7 through 8, the creation and annihilation of the material world are stated as follows. Sarva Bhutani Kaunteya Prakritim Yanti Mamikam Kalpakshaye Punastani Kalpadho Vishvrajamyaham Prakritim Svam Avastabhya Vishvrajami Puna Puna Bhuta Gramam Imam Krishnam Avasham Prakritervasat. At the end of each millennium, the creative forces, namely the material nature and the living entities who struggle in the material nature, all merge together into the transcendental body of the Lord. And again, when the Lord desires to manifest them, all of them are again displayed by the Lord. Therefore, the material nature is working under the control of the Lord. All of them, under the agency of material nature and under the control of the Lord, are thus repeatedly created and annihilated by the will of the Lord. As such, before the creation or manifestation of the material cosmic world, the Lord exists as total energy, Maha Samasti, and thus desiring himself to be diffused to many, he expands himself further into multi-total energy, Samasti. From the multi-total energy, he further expands himself into individuals in 3 dimensions, namely Adhyatmic, Adhidhaivik, and Adhibhautik, as explained before, Vyasti. As such, the whole creation and the creative energies are non-different and different simultaneously. Because everything is an emanation from him, Mahavishnu or Mahashamasti, nothing of the cosmic energies is different from him. But all such expanded energies have specific functions and display as designed by the Lord, and therefore they are simultaneously different from the Lord. Living entities are also similar energy, marginal potency of the Lord, and thus they are simultaneously one with and different from him. Under the modes of nature. Such differential manifestations of the living energies are conditional states of the living entities. The liberated living entities, however, in the Sanatana, eternal manifestation, are unconditionally surrendered souls, and therefore they are not subject to the condition of creation and annihilation. So this creation takes place by the glance of the Lord from his bedstead of mystic slumber. And thus all the universes and the Lord of the universe, Brahma, are again and again manifested and annihilated. Text 14. Adhi Daivam Atadhyatmam Adi Bhutam Iti Prabhu Ataikam Purusham Bharyam Tridha Vidhyata Tach Trinu. Just hear from me how the potency of his lordship divides one into 3, the controlling entities, the controlled entities, and the material bodies in the manner mentioned above. Text 15. Anta sarira akashat purushasya vichestata ojasaho balam jnane tata prano mahanasu. From the sky situated within the transcendental body of the manifesting Mahavishnu, sense energy, mental force, and bodily strength are all generated, as well as the sum total of the fountainhead of the total living force. (16) Anu prananti yam prana, pranantam sarva jantushu, apanantam apananti, naradevam ivanuga. As the followers of a king follow their lord, similarly, when the total energy is in motion, all other living entities move. And when the total energy stops endeavoring, all other living entities stop sensual activities. Purport. The individual living entities are completely dependent on the total energy of the Supreme Purusha. No one has independent existence, just as no electric lamp has independent effulgence. Each and every electrical instrument depends fully on the total powerhouse. The total powerhouse depends on the reservoir of water for generating electricity. Water depends on the clouds. The cloud Text 17. Pranhena kshipatakshtrid antara jayate vibho pipashato jakshatascha pranmukham nirabidyata. The living force, being agitated by the Virat Purusha, generated hunger and thirst, and when he desired to drink and eat, the mouth opened. Purport. The process by which all living beings in the womb of the mother develop their sense organs and sense perceptions appears to follow the same principles in the case of the Virat Purusha, the sum total of all living entities. Therefore, the supreme cause of all generation is not impersonal or without desire. The desires for all kinds of sense perception and sense organs exist in the supreme, and thus they take place in the individual persons. This desire is the nature of the supreme living being, the absolute truth, because he has the sum total of all mouths. The individual living entities have mouths. Similarly, with all other senses and sense organs, here the mouth is the symbolic representation of all sense organs, for the same principles apply to the others also. Text 18. Mukatastalu nirbinam jiva tatro pajayate taton hanaraso jnane jivaya yodigamyate. From the mouth, the palate became manifested, and thereupon the tongue was also generated. After this, all the different tastes came into existence, so that the tongue can relish them. Purport. This gradual process of evolution suggests the explanation of the controlling deities, Adidaiva, because Varuna is the controlling deity for all relishable juices. Therefore, the mouth becomes the resting place for the tongue, which tastes all the different juices, of which the controlling deity is Varuna. This suggests, therefore, that Varuna was also generated along with the development of the tongue. The tongue and the palate, being instrumental, are adibhutam, or forms of matter. But the functioning deity, who is a living entity, is adidaiva, whereas the person undergoing the function is adhyatma. Thus, the three categories are also explained as to their birth. After the opening of the mouth, text 19. Vivakshur mukato bhumno vanirvagvyahritam tayo jale chaitasya suchiram nirodha samhajayata. When the Supreme desired to speak, speeches were vibrated from the mouth. Then the controlling deity fire was generated from the mouth. But when he was lying in the water, all these functions remained suspended. Purport. The peculiarity of the gradual development of the different senses is simultaneously supported by their controlling deities. It is to be understood, therefore, that the activities of the sense organs are controlled by the will of the Supreme. The senses are, so to speak, offering a license for the conditioned souls, who are to use them properly under the control of the controlling deity deputed by the Supreme Lord. One who violates such controlling regulations has to be punished by degradation to lower status of life. Consider, for example, the tongue and its controlling deity Varuna. The tongue is meant for eating, and men, animals, and birds have their different tastes because of different licenses. The taste of human beings and that of the swine are not on the same level. The controlling deity, however, awards or certifies a particular type of body when the particular living entity develops a taste in terms of different modes of nature. If the human being develops taste without discrimination, as does the swine, then the controlling deity is certainly certified for the next term to award him the body of a swine. The swine accepts any kind of foodstuff, including stools, and human being who has developed such indiscriminate taste must be prepared for a degraded life in the next life. Such a life is also God's grace, because the conditioned soul desired a body like that for perfectly tasting a particular type of foodstuff. If a man gets the body of a swine, it must be considered the grace of the Lord, because the Lord awards the facility. After death, the next body is offered by superior control, not blindly. A human being, therefore, must be on his guard as to what sort of body he is going to have in the next life. An irresponsible life of indiscrimination is risky, and that is the declaration of all scriptures. Thus ends our reading for today. We will continue from text 20 on Monday. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Shripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Srila Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, Srila Acharya Dev, Srila Shanta Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Navadvip Dham, Nishangapali Dham, Mayapur Dham Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Kanath Puri Dham Ki Jai.
Jai.
Kanath Baladev Subhadra, Jagannath Subhadra Balaram Ju Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Ganga Mai, Yamuna Mai Ki Jai.
Jai.
Giri Govardhan, Gupta Govardhan Dham Ki Jai. Vrindavan
Jai.
Ki Jai.
Jai.
Sham Kund, Radha Kund Ki Jai.
Jai.
Devi Bhakti Devi, Vrinda Devi Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai.
Jai.
Harinam Sankirtan Yajna Ki Jai.
Jai.
Scientific Sankirtan Yajna Ki Jai.
Jai.
Princeton Bhaktivedanta Institute Ki Jai.
Jai.
Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Institute Ki Jai.
Jai.
Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai.
Jai.
Sama Bhaktiveda Vrinda Ki Jai. Our glories to
Jai.
the high devotees, our glories to the assembled devotees. Jai Srimati Umadev Dasi Ki Jai.
श्रीपाद कृष्ण केशव प्रभु की जय.
Tagore Pramanandi Hari 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 Bol.
हरि हरि बोल.
Anwas Didi.
धन्यवाद प्रणाम प्रभु.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.